Welcome to WDWNT March Madness 2018, a tournament of 64 current Walt Disney World attractions. I'm your host, Tom Corliss. Joining me also is the illustrious panel who will be debating the matchups with me here each and every night. Joining me, Ashley Jasmer.
Hi, y'all.
David Smith.
Hey, everyone.
Nathan Hartman.
Nerd sports, let's do this.
Nerd sports. Nicholas Cicero.
Howdy.
He's alive. Marcy Smith.
Hello.
And Jason Diffendahl.
Hello.
So we have our panel of 7.
7.
Yeah, 7. And it is time for March Madness to begin. And thank you already. One of the biggest crowds we've ever had on WDWNtunes.com and on YouTube. Thank you for joining us this evening, wherever you're joining us from. And I know why you're all here. You're all here because you want to win something. So what happened is we had everybody pre-register because we knew there would be a lot of people, and it's the only easy way to handle this. And so at 8 o'clock, we cut off registrations. We had a record number of registrations. There are several hundred of you playing, 3 times the amount that played last year. Because of that, it was a larger turnout than we expected. Because of that, we had to modify some of the rules to this game tonight. So Jason is going to go over the new rules in case you didn't read the email, in case you don't know what's going on. We're going to go over the rules that have changed, and it's going to be really important because this is going to help you win. So Jason, please tell us all about the new rules that our people playing along at home will need to know.
So here we go. These are a bit different than last year, so please listen carefully. Each of the 7 panelists will get 7 panelists will get their votes will be worth 3 points each. So each panelist's vote counts for 3
in a single match. So let's say it's the first match. We got Mansion and Speedway. Let's say I vote for the Speedway. Giggle now. If I vote for the Speedway, that's 3 points.
And Mansion gets 18. Because everyone else voted for Mansion. That's right. So that's how it works. So that means that when you call in, your vote is still worth 2 points for a call-in, but you need more than just one person to call in to change the outcome. You're going to need to band together with people in the chat or whatever to get your attraction to get some more votes there to try to change the outcome of the match.
Or you could be a terrible person and try to sway matches that don't even include any of your picks. Maybe you don't want to face somebody in the next round. Or maybe you just want to be mean to some attraction. You could do that too.
You could. So each person who registered and received the email, they should have gotten the email before 9 p.m. tonight. Each person gets 1 call-in vote. And this is 1 call-in vote over the course of the entire tournament. Not just tonight, you get 1 call-in vote for all of the shows together.
Yeah, so if you call in tonight, that's it. You
can't call in again next week. And we that's the main rule that we changed because Nick's not going to be able to handle 600 calls at the radio station.
But also because there's so many people, you have to realize there are over 1,200 points out there that are completely unaccounted for. And we only, each panelist only gets 3 points per matchup. So imagine that there's that many points out there that can land anywhere in the tournament. So that's why we've had to change the rules. There was so many of you that you guys have a much bigger say in this thing than we thought you were originally going to have. So because of that, again, you get 1 vote, 1 call-in vote for the entire tournament, which you have to use before the end of that round, and then you get that one, and you only use it once in this whole tournament.
You can only use it once, and so your call-in in your email, you have this call-in vote validation code. So when you call in to Nick, you're going to give him that validation code to verify that you're actually registered to play and are able to vote. And so he's going to make a note of that validation code, and that's how we're going to know that your vote has been used, so you can't call in and use it again next week. So you get one use of your vote validation code over the course of the entire tournament, which means you get one call-in over the course of the entire tournament. Once it's used, it's gone. Whether you use it tonight or save it till next week, you get to use it once.
Well, I mean, actually, the next week is the third show. We have a second show this week.
Or Wednesday or next Wednesday. That's right. Yes. So you get to use that one vote worth 2 points to sway a matchup only once this time.
Yeah. Or you can vote Jason up to the Enterprise.
People are concerned you're a ghost.
It's. I'll be around. I'll be okay. Thanks.
There's room for one more.
Yes. Madam Diffendahl joining us tonight. Anyway, so that's is Nick all alone at the station? Yes, but that was Nick's decision. I was originally going up there. I will be joining Nick the next 2 Wednesdays for the next 2 shows at the station. Nick wanted privacy. I'm not going to ask why. I don't want to know why, but that's what happened.
That's not the case.
Okay.
I would have loved your company, Tom.
You're the one who messaged me. I was coming. You're like, you don't have to come up here. It's okay. All right. Anyway, Nick doesn't have pants on at the studio. That's what's happening.
Very true.
So anyway. All right. So it is time to begin the tournament. Jason, do we have, we're going to be able to show people the brackets as we go along?
I think so, but let me get that working.
Okay. We're going to start getting that set up in the meantime. So again, I'm going to remind you, because a couple of people have just popped in. Again, you get one call for the whole tournament. The number is, you should have the number, but in case you don't, it's 407-774-8255. And you have to call. If you're going to use it tonight, you got to call before the end of the round. The nice thing is this is a really long round because there's 32 matchups. But I would suggest the phone lines are going to jam up. I would suggest calling right after we finish voting on whatever match you want to sway, if at least you know at that point. Call in early because we're only going to stay so long after that last matchup is decided. There will be some sort of time limit as to how many calls we'll take from that point on. So make sure if you really want to use that call, make sure you get it in. Don't get stuck on the phone lines. We can only handle so many calls at a time. Even though there's multiple lines, there's still only so many, and there's several hundred of you. So do keep that in mind. If you remember last year, 1/3 of the amount of players, and the phone line was real rough at times. So imagine how much worse this could be tonight. So, Jason, do we have the brackets now?
We have it. Here we go.
We do. So we need to begin the tournament. The way this is going to work is we have 7 people on this panel, and each panelist has a vote that's worth 3 points, and the most points wins and moves the attraction on to the next round. Obviously, that could be swayed by the people at home, but we at least are going to account in the discussion for the 7 of us. So let's go ahead. Let's just get this thing started, shall we? Our first matchup in the Magic Kingdom Conference is going to be the number 1 seed, the Haunted Mansion, versus the number 16 seed, the Tomorrowland Speedway. We can make this one quick, I'm sure. Ashley, what do you think?
I don't understand why this is a question.
Because it has to be.
Fine. The mansion.
All right. David?
I'm so tempted to give a vote the other way, but let's just go with the mansion and get this done with.
Why would you vote the other way?
A pity vote.
Yeah, basically. We know mansion's going to get to the final 4 at least.
We have too many people calling in for everyone to be like, yeah, let's give a pity vote to something.
I guess.
We can't play that game.
All right, we agree.
Can't
no
play that
votes
game this year.
No.
Agreed.
So it's 2 for Mansion. Jason?
I'm going to vote Mansion too because I don't like to go on the Speedway at all, let alone 10 times in a row.
Jason, you should probably explain to the people at home what idiotic thing you're doing.
So my strategy for voting this time around is that sometimes my strategy is only my head will ride the attractions. And that fits well for Haunted Mansion. No, my strategy is that I'm going to vote for whichever attraction I would rather ride 10 times in a row. So if I'd rather ride the Haunted Mansion 10 times in a row than the Speedway, I'm going to vote Haunted Mansion. If I'd rather ride Dumbo than sit through It's Tough to Be a Bug 10 times in a row, then that's the way I'll vote. So that's my strategy. for most of my voting, and so certainly I'd much rather sit on the Haunted Mansion 10 times in a row than ride the Tomorrowland Speedway even once.
There you go. Nathan?
Well, like many of you, I like Black Lung, but I think I'm going to hold Speedway off to the side, and I'm going to do the hard choice and go with Haunted Mansion. My whole goal here is I'm going to try my best to rip all nostalgia away from myself and try to legitimately pick story-wise, design-wise, the best attraction. That's my method this time around. So we'll see what happens. That could be good or bad. But
That sounds
Haunted
more
Mansion,
reasonable than Jason.
well, it's what can you say? But yes, we're currently doing Haunted Mansion for me.
Marcy?
So I'm only going with nostalgia. No, I'm just
You got to
kidding.
balance me out, Marcy, so that's fine.
Well, I don't really enjoy riding either one, to be very honest. I don't like creepy rides like Mansion, and I really don't like Speedway. But I would rather, if I had to choose one, I'd rather ride Mansion than Speedway.
Doesn't like Haunted Mansion.
Sorry.
But she doesn't like the Speedway even more, so she's still okay in my
There you
book.
go. Nick?
Well, see, this is the interesting thing. What are we calling this? The criteria is open on this. Like
it's the
not
best
like
attraction at Walt Disney World. I mean, you could vote with nostalgia. You can vote just because you hate the other one. Like, I don't really care in this situation. We're not talking about the biggest moments. It's not a biggest moments countdown. This is
well, there is a
just
difference.
like we did with restaurants last year.
There's a difference between
million
best
things.
and favorite, though. We're
There
going for
is.
best.
Yeah.
Right.
I would hope that some people, how much they like an attraction, how good they think it is, weighs into it being their favorite. I would hope there's some correlation.
Hopefully, there is an argument to be made that if the criteria was right, Speedway could be better than Mansion. But
What criteria is that?
What?
traction that you drive the vehicle yourself.
Interact? No,
Yeah.
because I would even say the queue is more truthfully interactive.
Louder.
I'm going to vote for Mansion.
Surprise. Yeah. I'm also going to go with Mansion because the Tomorrowland Speedway should be gone. And I have a vendetta against it because of that. So there, as much as Nathan is trying to take away any personal feelings, I am putting them all into this mashup. And I've decided
the
that
ankles of all cast members appreciate your vote.
yeah. Well, they do get that hazard pay, which is real nice. But yeah, Mansion. So surprise, the Haunted Mansion has blown out the Tomorrowland Speedway. It's what Tron should have
And it
done.
still took us 10 minutes to get there.
It did take us 10 minutes.
Oh, Lord.
We're going to be here forever. Let's move on to the next matchup. For some reason, you want to sway that one. You should just stop watching. Let's move on to the next matchup, shall we? What do we got? We got Dumbo, the number 9 seed, Dumbo the Flying Elephant. Jason's going to update that at some point. Dumbo the Flying Elephant. All right. I'm
Oh,
gonna take
and
it
there
off.
it goes.
Oh, look, there it's updated already. There you go. 21-0. So blowout. All right. Dumbo the Flying Elephant versus It's Tough to Be a Bug. Ashley.
I'm actually going to go with Dumbo
Why?
for the nostalgia factor.
Okay. David?
Yeah, I'm going to go back to what I enjoy more. I'm going to go with Tough to Be a Bug. I understand Dumbo's a classic, but unless I'm with a kid, I'm not riding it.
Nathan?
Dumbo is the most beautiful carnival ride at Disneyland, probably, but it's a carnival ride. So it has to go for me with It's Tough to Be a Bug.
Oh, he picked bugs. All right. Jason?
I am going to go with Dumbo on this one because I think I could ride it 10 times in a row.
I hate this so much. This is so much worse than Is It at Epcot?
You
Do you
know,
want me to- do you
I
want me
didn't
to go
think
back?
that I would enjoy it, but the fact that it's already making Tom so angry makes it fun.
It's even
Yeah.
better.
No, it's all the
I
same.
could go with my alternate strategy of anything that's not at studios. How about that?
You and I are going to have a fight then.
well,
Says,
we're gonna have
says
a fight
the
either
wall
way.
behind me.
Oh, yeah.
Who's next? Nicholas Cicero.
I'm going to one up Jason. I have to be able to ride the attraction 11 times in a row. I'm going to go with It's Tough to Be a Bug. It's good.
Little-
So.
things poking you in the back, you'd rather do 11 times
I
than
love
up
the
and down on Dumbo.
You
Yeah,
don't. You just have to sit
Can
forward.
we
in the
not
seat.
have a discussion about things poking Nick in the back?
He already doesn't have pants
love
on,
the
so-
bugs on my butt.
Oh my
And,
god.
All right,
Oh boy.
Dumbo doesn't give me that sensation. So
Marcy.
Well, I really enjoy each one, but I'm picking Dumbo for nostalgia reasons this time. I mean, it's the quintessential Disney attraction. You see it on every commercial. It's the ride, one ride every kid has to do when they go to Disney World or Disneyland. So I'd have to say Dumbo.
I love Dumbo. It's classic. It's wonderful. But I'm not sure there is much at Disney World that gives me more joy than It's Tough to Be a Bug. What I like to do is get behind the people who I think are going to freak out the most. And I specifically look for these people and I sit behind them. And it's the most amazing thing. And I just love the reactions to everything. It's Tough to Be a Bug is a brilliantly paced and put together 3D show where they literally sat down and they went, well, what are the things people don't like about bugs? What are the things we can play with here? And literally every piece has a great gag to it where they really thought about it. And in many cases implemented a whole effect that is just for that one gag. And I love that. So I'm going with It's Tough to Be a Bug. Not that that really changes anything, but I like that show a lot. Did we get everybody?
Score.
Mm-hmm.
Who's keeping
I thought
score?
you were
isn't he?
keeping score.
I thought you were keeping scores. Exactly
No, I'm not
right.
keeping score. I'm updating.
Oh
the
my
bracket.
It was
Fantastic.
4-3. Bug because I voted Dumbo, David voted Dumbo, Marcy voted Dumbo, everybody else voted Bug.
No, I went with Bug.
Oh, you did? Oh,
I
so
went
then
with
it's-
Dumbo.
Jason
went
went
with
with Dumbo.
Dumbo.
So it was 4-3.
Okay.
You're
It
right.
was still 4-3.
Was it 4-3? Was that
It was
close?
4-3.
what
which
is
one-
this?
You all
The,
kicked
what is this? The
Dumbo's
map
trash.
game?
Which one has
No,
4?
this is actually working. So
It's Tough to Be a Bug had 4.
Okay, so It's Tough to Be a Bug edged it out just
Yep.
a bit.
Just
So
barely.
I'm gonna need people to call in and
wait,
say
what happened? Bugs didn't win.
Yeah,
yes,
Ted.
it did.
No,
You
it
were the
didn't.
deciding vote. It
Why is
was tied
it
until you voted.
4? I didn't know I was the
Messed it
deciding vote.
Yeah.
Fine. I don't care.
I can't believe you chose a screen over like an original
I
attraction.
chose a screen. There's an animatronic
There's
that is
two.
amazing of Hopper. Never mind the flick that comes out of the top.
No,
We're
it's
certainly
Just a
talking lot-
screen.
But it is a
But-
screen-based attraction.
Right. We're talking
And
a lot about
Dumbo
lines
is
going up in
literally
Haunted
the
Mansion,
same
so-
thing 16 times consecutively.
but
I love Dumbo, but I'm sorry. I'm not giving a spinner.
I get dizzy on that. I can't do it 11 times.
So that what is that? That's in points that works out to what 16 to 12. Is that right?
Math game.
no.
I can't do
Say
math.
math
12,
game.
9. There you
Wow.
go. There it is. There it is.
You do
There's
It's
the
Tough
math.
to Be a Bug 11 times, you'll die from smoke inhalation.
So it's tough to be a bug. Let's move on to the next matchup, and someone keep score, please. All right, this is a good one. The battle for New Fantasyland. We got the number 5 seed, the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, versus the number 12 seed, Under the Sea, Journey of the Little Mermaid. Ashley.
As much as I know it gets a lot of hate, but I do enjoy Mermaid, but I have to go with Mine Train.
David.
I'm going with Mine Train.
Jason.
I gotta go with Mine Train. I mean, I'm sad really that Journey of the Little Mermaid is so bad of a dark ride. Like we rode it at Disneyland, and it, you ride that, and it's like how they've got like Mr. Toad and Pinocchio and everything over there at Disneyland, and then you got this, and it's just like I don't know, it's just
Yeah.
not the same.
Nathan.
I have a sort of special place in my heart for Under the Sea, specifically for the Ursula animatronic, because it's really impressive. But it's only trumped by 7. Yes, 7 dwarfs. 7 dwarfs. Mine Train goes for me.
Nick.
Yeah, Mine Train. It has better show scenes than the dark ride, than the Mermaid dark ride. So yeah, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train.
You have a Snow White preference too. Marcy.
Well, I know for a fact that I can only ride Mine Train 6 times, and we proved that because we did the early morning magic And
I was going to say Disney After Hours, but no one.
No, it was the morning. Oh, and yeah, 6 times was it. But I still choose that over Voyage of the Little Mermaid. I do really like that attraction, but just like everybody said, the show scenes, and it's a lot more fun, I think. So Mine Train.
I'm going with Mine Train because I think the before the lift hill scene is one of the most beautifully staged scenes in any attraction. I think it's laid out really well. The sound design is fantastic, and then I love the end where we got to keep like a piece of the Snow White Scary Adventures in the house, and there's this great witch figure outside the window. I love that. Mine Train. So I think Mine Train swept.
Yeah,
sweet.
that was a shutout.
So it's another 21-0. Well, we'll find out. There we go. 21-0. Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. Next matchup. This is one that a lot of people have been very anxious to see the outcome of. This is the number 13 seed Impressions de France versus the number 4 seed Festival of the Lion King. Let's switch things up. Marcy, why don't you start us off? Well, never mind.
Uh-oh.
That sound means Bob Chapek has invaded.
All right,
what's going on?
we got a vote in for Mine Train. A vote for Mine Train from a
Why?
Why?
It's already a blowout, so they wasted their call.
Oh,
Sometimes
bless
people
them.
like to secure their pick.
I think it's pretty secure.
Well, I mean,
All right,
unless
let's-
other people call in, but I mean, bless
I
it. Who's really going to call in for Voyage of the
All
Little
right, well,
Mermaid?
there's our first lesson on how not to use your call-in votes.
Oh, jeez.
So mean. Pick what you want, people. Pick what you want.
I agree, but like, come on, look at this 21.
I
No,
don't
it's
disagree.
23.
I don't disagree.
23-0.
Maybe he's in a room with 12 other people that are all going to call in for Little Mermaid right now.
It's a very possible scenario.
Anyway, all right, let's get to Impressions de France versus Festival of the Lion King because that's ridiculous. Marcy, go ahead.
Okay, this one was a little bit tough for me because I really like both, and I really, really love Impressions de France. I love Epcot. It's probably my second favorite park, but I really love it. But I have so much respect for live performers and the amount of effort and just work that goes into doing a live show, and they sing live. Nothing's pre-recorded. So I think for this one, I'm going to have to go with Festival of the Lion King.
Actually, I think that the characters are pre-recorded.
Well, yeah, but
Obviously, I'm talking about the
the singers are.
actors.
okay.
Everybody other than the primary 4 are recorded.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nicholas.
Impressions of France is probably my favorite film at Epcot, but Tumble Monkeys. So, Festival of the Lion King.
But Tumble Monkeys from the people that brought you Because Money. Nathan.
Yeah, I love Impressions de France, and I like it during the daylight hours. I'm a film professor, and I like that movie from that perspective. It's so beautiful. At the same time, it's a film, and Festival of Lion King is so much more. So Festival of Lion King for me as well.
Jason.
So, using my strategy,
Boy. Well, I don't know if I do either of these 10 times. That would be like 3 days.
Impressions de France is 18 minutes, so 10 of those would be 180 minutes. That's a really nice 3-hour nap.
In air conditioning.
In the air conditioning too, but that's sort of
air conditioned.
And nice, soothing French voices. So.
that's sort of wasteful though. So I'm going with Festival of Lion King.
Great, thank you, Jason. Insightful as always, David.
There are 2 things that I hate in shows:
Jesus.
backlist metal benches and audience participation. And Festival of the Lion King has both to kick off the show. So I'm going with Impressions de France because it's a much more comfortable experience.
Wow. Yeah, there's no one for miles.
And plus, if you close your eyes, it actually becomes a better attraction.
Stop.
Ashley.
Without question, Festival of the Lion King.
Yeah, I'm also going with Festival. I like kind of tear up every time I see Festival. I think it's such a moving show. I think it's so well put together, and the performers genuinely care. I've never seen performers. You just watch them. They care at a level that I feel like no other performers at Disney World care, and I think it comes across to guests. I'm going Festival of Lion King. So,
18-3 to the festival.
18-3 for Festival of the Lion King. All right. On to the next matchup, which is going to be, oh boy, it's the Rock and Roller Coaster, the number 3 seed, versus the number 14 seed, Walt Disney's Carousel of Progress. We're going to have an upset here, Ashley.
Oh, why do you have to pick me first?
I'm going in reverse order from the last one.
Gosh. As much as I love Carousel of Progress for the history, I have to go Rock and Roller Coaster. I know it's not the greatest. It's an out-of-the-box roller coaster, but sync to the music and in the dark, it's still, I mean, and it still to this day, people who've never done it before, and they see the coaster shoot off in the tunnel, and they get that giddy excitement to see it when they're still waiting in line. It's still... I have to pick Rockin'.
David.
I'm going to go with Carousel because it's a theater show that is all animatronics. Quintessential Disney.
Jason.
I cannot do Rock and Roller Coaster 10 times in a row. There's no way.
You're going to do Carousel of Progress 10 times in a row.
Oh, I could certainly, because I'll sing along every time. Like, I won't even fall asleep in Carousel of Progress. No, there's no way. So I will sing along every time and stay awake. And so Carousel of Progress.
Nathan.
You know, the thing about Rock and Roller Coaster is the band is now so old, you might as well call that ride the Mummy. But,
Oof.
you know, it's if I had to sit through that pre-show every time alone, that's enough.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, though I do love that. Who's the comedian? I always forget his name. Who's has a silent part in that. He's on all sorts of shows. He's the board operator, so he's fun. But you know, it's the theming of Carousel is just it's so put together, and yes, of course, it could use an update, no joke, but at the same time it always makes me smile, and I could do that 10 times, and that's not my criteria, but honestly I probably could. It's just it makes me feel happy about progress, so there you go.
I hate that Jason has made this whole show about doing
I know it's the worst. I don't even want to think about it, and now it's in my head like, would I do that?
I derail every one of these every year.
That's a whole different segment.
I'm not going to get invited back, am I?
No, you're not. Nick. Speaking of not getting invited back, Nick.
No.
Not even the question. Carousel of Progress. Rock and Roller Coasters. Garbage. It's awful.
Oh, wow.
It's pretty bad. I mean, the pre-show is the best part. The pre-show and the
Yeah.
theming around it is the best part. The
Yeah.
coaster itself is just garbage.
Marcy.
I can't even ride Rock and Roller Coaster once without getting a headache. So, but putting that aside, I mean, there's no way that I would vote for that over Carousel of Progress any day. I mean, I would love to see Carousel of Progress at the end. So I'm voting Carousel.
Okay. I'm pretty sure Rock and Roller Coaster detached my retina. So that's, again, for personal reasons, I'm going with Walt Disney's Carousel of Progress. But Nick kind of summed it up. The ride portion itself is kind of like it's just this launch into a loop. What I like about Rock and Roller Coaster and Studios is the building, and I like the pre-show, and I like the atmosphere. But otherwise, I mean, and Carousel of Progress is quintessentially Walt, and it's something people should see. So Carousel. Oh, I broke that. Let's do that again. There we go. We still have to add some points to Mine Train as well, Jason.
Yep.
It's 23 for Mine Train. Let's not
Let me
forget.
do that. Yep.
But 18-3 for Walt Disney's Carousel of Progress. That's a big upset. You don't have an upset sound effect, probably. So. But anyway, the Carousel of Progress, a 14 seed, upsetting Rock and Roller Coaster, unless a whole lot of people call in. All right, let's move on. Oh boy, everybody's two favorites coming up now. It's the Star Wars Launch Bay versus Mission Space. Marcy.
Launch Bay.
Why?
Because I really loved meeting Chewie. I really loved meeting Kylo Ren. I can't wait to meet BB-8. And also, Mission Space makes me feel extremely claustrophobic. And I don't like being centrifuged in a box. I don't like it.
Nick.
It's it's really weird until getting really more involved with the community, like here through WDWNT. I never realized the hate for Mission Space. I love Mission Space. I think it's a fantastic like simulation to like being shot up into space, and I love it. And the actual animation could do for I wish that was something different, but I love it, and so that's an easy vote for me. As much as I love Star Wars.
Nathan.
I think Mission Space has one of the weirdest themes, and it's to make people not feel like they were going to die or something like that. But the fact that you are the theme is you are going into a simulator to do a simulator is, for me, it's always been strange. At the same time, Launch Bay just doesn't got enough going on. The theming is I don't know, it's nothing. So it's going to go for Mission Space, but I'm doing that in protest.
Jason.
So I do think I could ride Mission Space 10 times in a row.
Green?
I really like Mission Space. I'm totally with Nick. I love Mission Space. I loved it. I wrote it like pre-opening, and I loved it. I thought it was great. I'm sad that they got rid of Gary Sinise, but that doesn't really make my vote change. But yeah, I think I could ride it 10 times. And Launch Bay, ever since they got rid of the Disney Infinity game in there, it's been terrible. So I'm going to vote for Mission Space.
Play that at home, you idiot.
Yeah, I know.
David.
I'm glad to hear Nick and Jason say that, because I thought I was the lone Mission Space person on the network. I love it as well. I have ridden it 10 times in a row, and I like it much better than Launch Bay.
Ashley.
I don't love Mission Space that much, but I enjoy Launch Bay even less. And I get what Marcy's saying about meeting the characters, but the characters, I don't want to say could have been put anywhere, but don't necessarily have to be there. And if you take that away, there's nothing really to do interesting or to see that's interesting, in my opinion, enough to draw you over there. So I'm going with Mission Space.
Launch Bay killed my beloved animation building, so I'm going with Mission Space. Again, for personal vindictive reasons. So there you go. So we have a winner. What is that?
18-3.
18-3. There you go, folks. 18-3. And we got two more still in this conference. Let's go ahead. We got the number 7. Yeah, 7 seed. Walt Disney Presents versus number 10, The Seas with Nemo and Friends. Ashley, what do you think?
I'm going with Nemo and Friends. If it was up against One Man's Dream, I would go One Man's Dream, but it's not. So I don't overly enjoy Nemo, but it's okay. So I'm picking that.
David?
I am going with Walt Disney Presents. It's not One Man's Dream, but still enjoyable.
Jason?
I don't know how I would be able to do Walt Disney Presents 10 times in a row.
You have to stop this. We have too many matches left, and I'm going to snap.
That's my ultimate goal. I'm going to go with Nemo. I think Nemo is a great attraction. I love that it's an omnimover that basically came back from the grave. I probably would have gone with One Man's Dream if it was still that, but I think that that deserves some kind of punishment because they changed it. So I'm going with Nemo.
Wow. Nathan.
Nemo is hot molten garbage. Here's why. That is a ride where a child forces his father to relive the PTSD of losing him throughout the entire ride. It's unfathomable. It screens, and at best, the best part, of course, is when you actually see the actual water, and then they sort of incorporate that. That's cool. But man, it is a dumb ride.
Nemo comes off
you
as a
act
jerk,
as if
doesn't he?
kids don't run away all the time.
I just want to slap that
Of
fish.
course, I get it, but it's just, I just can't buy it. I just can't buy it. It's and you could have done. I don't mind it. I don't mind a Finding Nemo right there. You just could have done something, and it's Nemo for
where are you, son?
for 10 minutes, 5 minutes. I don't know. It feels like a lifetime.
I know, funny. I'm a clownfish.
Yeah. So and sometimes the Kukla arm works. So that's that, I guess.
Sometimes.
So Walt Disney.
It's about as often as Jason is enjoyable in this segment.
Aww.
So Walt Disney Presents, because honestly, I would love a more robust Orlando Walt Museum in general. And if it's what I can get, I'll take it because it's fun, and I've always enjoyed seeing the stuff in there, and I always get a little smile seeing the Lincoln animatronic. So that's it.
Cicero.
Yeah, Nemo is a great attraction, but I think it's pretty important to have a tribute to Walt inside the park there, and I think that's a really cool thing. And I do also agree there should be some kind of historical tribute to him in the city, and this is what we can get, and it's inside the park, and I love it. And it was better, yes, but it's still fun to walk through and relive that history. So Walt Disney Presents.
Marcy.
Wait, where is that again?
Where's what?
Walt Disney Presents?
One Man's Dream.
Oh, okay. I thought you said it wasn't One Man's Dream.
It is. I mean, it is sometimes. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's a wrinkle in time.
Okay. No. In that case, I choose Walt Disney Presents.
It's always good when the panel doesn't know where things are at Disney World.
It's obviously in Hollywood Studios because you have that fancy little.
Wait a minute.
Look at
Oh
the
yeah.
tower.
Okay.
The icon of the park, the Tower of Terror, is on the image. That's how you know. I am going with Walt Disney Presents because I actually think, with the exception of the meet and greet that they tacked on, I think they've actually done a good job updating this. I like the preview center at the end. I really like that idea. Even though it's Toy Story Land, I love this idea of like the preview center. I think Walt would have been a big fan of that. I think it's a thing people love. People always love to know, like, oh, what are they building next? And so even though they tacked that meet and greet space on, and I'm not a big fan of that, I still love this exhibit space. And I like when the film is actually, still playing and not a preview of another movie. So yeah, Walt Disney Presents. So what's the score on that one?
15-6. Yep.
15-6 for Walt Disney Presents. So
Is that where you meet Baby Groot?
yes, that is.
Yeah.
where
Oh,
you meet
okay.
Baby
Now I
Groot.
know where it is.
Let's just all be happy that's where Guardians of the Galaxy is.
Okay. All right. So the final match of the conference. Oh yeah, we're gonna finish at 11:30. We have the 15 seed, the Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor versus Soarin' Around the World. Let's make this one quick, shall we, Ashley?
Soren.
David.
Yeah, Soren.
It's an easy
Jason.
question.
Laugh floor.
Okay, Nathan.
Soren.
Nick.
Laugh Floor.
Marcy.
Soren.
I'm going with Soren just because Laugh Floor has been horrible since the Monsters University updates. Yeah, Monsters probably would have won this a while ago. But all right, so what do we got on the score there?
We got 15-6 again.
15-6 for Soren. So there you go. That is the end of the Magic Kingdom Conference. So people look over the results, see if you want to call in. If you need to call in, if it's 21-0 or 23-0, you probably don't have to. Just so you,
But you and
you could.
You and 4 of your friends could call in and put Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor back in it.
Yeah, sure.
Don't do that.
Why don't we tell the fine people about one of the wonderful sponsors that brings you this debacle in progress? Why don't we tell people about Small World Big Fun? There we go. There are times when planning a Disney vacation can be overwhelming, even if you have been many times before. You know how much time it could take to get things exactly the way you want them. And this is where Cindy Miner and the team at Small World Big Fun comes in. Small World Big Fun is an authorized Disney vacation planner, and in the past 10 years, they have helped thousands of families plan Disney vacations to the Disney parks, the Disney Cruise Line, Alani, and all other Disney destinations. Their job is to make planning a Disney vacation easy for you. They will wade through all the options, help you plan the trip that works best for you and your family. They'll make sure you are getting the best price as well. And the best part, there are no fee agency. So when you book your vacation package, you don't owe them a dime. And they even know where Walt Disney Presents is. So, I mean, they've got it all. So if you'd like to reach out to the team at Small World Big Fun, just visit smallworldbigfun.com/Disney fans. That's one word, Disney fans with an S today, and they will be glad to help. And as well, we're going to be releasing some room block rates from Small World Big Fun for a big December event, WDWNT Wreck the Halls, December 5th through the 9th. So stay tuned for more information on that. And now back to the energy nightmare in progress. Remember that, kids? Let's go on to the Epcot conference. Continue along here. We got the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror versus the Astro Orbiter. This should be quick and painless. Marcy.
Why is this the Epcot conference? Neither of them are from Epcot.
It's just the name of the 4 conferences.
Oh. Sorry.
Just use you, Marcy. That's
Sorry. Yes. Okay. So
Next to Walt Disney Presents.
I know where. All right. So I realized that as I've gotten older, I'm less of a thrill ride person, more of an experience person. That being said, I would rather stand in line and wait and not ride Tower of Terror than go on Astro Orbiter. So I'm going to choose Tower of Terror.
Nick.
Yeah, Tower of Terror.
Nathan.
Ironically, elevator versus elevator here, but I'm going to go with Tower of Terror.
Jason.
Tower of Terror.
David.
Tower.
Ashley.
Tower.
Goodbye, Astrobiter. It's 21-0. Don't call.
Please don't.
Next matchup, we got the number 9 seed, Kali River Rapids, versus the thing I now have to look up because Jason took the screen away from me. There we go. The American Adventure. Kali River Rapids versus the American Adventure. Ashley, lead us off.
I do enjoy Kali, but I can't justify voting against it or voting for it against American Adventure.
It's American Adventure. David.
Still a technological marvel. American Adventure.
Jason.
Agree 100% with David.
Nathan.
I prefer being soaked in patriotism, so the American Adventure for me.
Nick. And please don't tell us what you want to be soaked in.
I mean, not even close. American Adventure is one of my favorite things, but I mean, Kali River Rapids isn't even a good rapids ride in any sense. So yeah, American Adventure.
Marcy.
American Adventure.
American Adventure, because Kali, I don't want a budget cut rapids ride. I'd rather fall asleep for a half hour. So there you go. It's a blowout, 21-0 for the American Adventure. All right, on to the next. I'm going to pull up the brackets myself because Jason's going to keep taking them away from me.
No, I left it there for you.
No, it's fine. I got it. The next matchup, we have the number 5 seed, the Navi River Journey versus number 12, Mickey's Philhar Magic. Marcy.
I'm going to go with Navi River Journey because I love Philhar Magic, but again, I feel like show scenes in an actual attraction with animatronics and
that's
just
animatronic in the singular,
Okay.
Marcy.
animatronic, but it's still amazing what they did with all of the bioluminescent plant life, and I just love a lot of the effects that they have. So I'm going to say Navi River Journey.
Nick.
Yeah, this one's hard because Philhar Magic, man, I didn't think I'd be voting against it in round 1. I love that attraction, but Navi River Journey is just visually stunning. I love it so much. So there you go.
Nathan.
Though Navi River Journey, I think, has a very impressive animatronic, I find that ride short and I find it pretty underwhelming. I'm going to go with Philhar Magic because I always get a little something in my throat mid Philhar Magic. I don't know what it is about it, but it just always makes me happy. And I always love watching the kids in that ride because they're always just so enamored, especially when they realize that Donald is actually behind them. So for me, Philhar Magic.
That stuff in your throat's the recycled water that they spit at you.
I know. And how good is that? So good.
David.
As opposed to the recycled water in River Journey. River Journey is impressive, but Philhar Magic has charm, it has heart, and let's not forget it does have an animatronic, the back end of Donald.
His best half, one might say.
you could make the argument.
Jason, did you go?
I did not go. I agree with mostly very much with what Nathan said about Navi River Journey being short and underwhelming. And I mean, I could do probably pretty much the same if I took about 150 highlighters in a blender and splattered them around my garage if you want the bioluminescence. It's just that ride was so disappointing to me. It really was. I mean, the animatronic is amazing, but the ride overall was disappointing.
Ashley.
Yeah, I have to piggyback on Jason for a second, and really everybody, because Navi, it's beautiful, but it just, the music and everything, it feels like it's building to something. And while the animatronic is astonishing, I don't know, it just feels like there's still something missing from it. Like you get to it and the music and everything builds to it, and then
there's a plot.
It's the shaman, and I know there's a plot, but I don't know, something's still missing. And Philhar is quintessential. I mean, it's all the Disney characters. It's got Mickey. It's got Donald. It calls back to Fantasia. I would much rather go sit through Philhar than wait
10 times.
Than wait in that strange smelling queue. And then ride.
Pandora, they can't discriminate against people because they smell bad. So I mean,
well, that wasn't the smell I was referring to.
Oh. I don't know what smell is in that queue though. This was tough for me. This is
the first couple weeks.
These are both like children to me. I love both of these very, very much. I think because PhilharMagic, I think the film, it's time to reanimate the film. And every time I go in there, as much as I love it, the film is starting to look kind of old. And River Journey, I really love River Journey. And I felt the same way everyone else did the first time. I felt underwhelmed, but the more I've been on it, I have that song stuck in my head every day. Every day at some point, Ma-E-Wa is in my head and I can't get it out. And I love that. I love the animatronic. I love that ending with the chimes and everything echoing through the cavern. And there's these little snippets that are really beautiful. The waterfall coming under the log. And I love the whole end part in the cave. And I'm going with River Journey. I think unless if PhilharMagic gets a film update, I'd pick PhilharMagic, but I'm going River Journey.
I can't. Yeah, it needs an HD remaster at the very least.
Yeah, I mean, if Spider-Man at Garbage Universal can get reanimated, we can reanimate Mickey's PhilharMagic. I mean, it's time. So, Jason, what's the result there? 12-9 River Journey. So if you need to sway something in this upset, this is the time, because that is actually a close matchup. Two of you can call in and sway that one real easy. Or maybe you want to solidify it for PhilharMagic. You can call in as well. So might be our first good chance for someone to use a call in. In the meantime, let's go on to the next blowout, which is the number 13 seed, Reflections of China versus Star Tours. The adventures continue. Let's make this one quick. Marcy.
I'm going with Star Tours, even though it makes me nauseous.
Nick.
Star Tours. The more I go on the new update, I love it. They did such a good job with Crate.
Nathan.
Tours, for sure.
Jason.
As much as I would probably feel ill by going on Star Tours 10 times in a row, I think I could do it. So Star Tours.
David.
Star Tours.
Ashley.
Star Tours.
Star Tours. It's a sweep. That's 21-0 Star Tours. Sorry if you had Reflections of China. Let's go on to our next matchup, which is going to be the number 3 seed Expedition Everest versus the number 14 seed The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. Ashley, lead us off.
Everest. I love the queue. I love the ride. I know my Yeti doesn't work, but I still love that roller coaster every time.
David.
A partially functioning Everest is still better than a fully functioning Winnie the Pooh.
Jason.
Winnie the Pooh is just a pile of poo.
Man. We keep Jason around. He's real big in the 4 to 8 demographic.
I'm trying to help out Nick. There.
Oh boy, Nathan.
I mean, are you kidding me? Everest for sure.
Nick. Oh, Nick's taking a phone call.
Everest.
Marcy.
I'm also going to say Everest.
I'm going with Winnie the Pooh. I think Everest is incredibly overrated. I think other than the queue, the ride is trash. The Yeti doesn't work. The bird doesn't come out. The mist isn't on in the tunnel. What am I riding this for? To go backwards in the dark for 20 seconds? What do people see in this?
I don't know. There's just something about, I think it's the way the queue builds to the roller coaster.
But it builds to nothing.
It's fun.
So does Navi River Journey.
It's actually
That has a
ride,
functioning
though.
animatronic, so
Sometimes.
sometimes, yeah. I've been trying to see that screen and I can't. I
First
want to see
time.
the screen.
First time.
Did you really? I'm so jealous.
First time.
I want video of the screen. I need to make it happen.
I literally went to somebody and said, I feel like I missed something and I don't know what happened. And I was like, where was it? And they were like, oh, it's in B mode. And I was like,
Yeah.
that explains it.
I want to see that so bad. Anyway. But I don't care. You can all have Everest. I'm going with Winnie the Pooh. It's a charming, cute, dark ride. I love those characters.
It is, but Everest is better.
Yeah, well, take
Can
a move. So in your face.
Can I change my vote?
Marcy wants to change her vote?
Marcy.
No, Marcy, do you want to change your vote?
Let me tell you why. It's because I love the nod to Mr. Toad. I love the smoke ring. I love the different effects that they have where the writing, the type is like floating off of the page. And I just really, and I love how every scene the car changes. Like it's floating and then it's bouncing and then
like
it's just
California
driving.
where it just goes like this the whole time and doesn't actually.
Exactly. So I actually am going to change my vote to Winnie the Pooh.
So there you go. 2 for
Wow.
Can I do something crazy?
Pooh. What is the something crazy you want to do?
I'm thinking that if I rode Everest 10 times in a row, my head would explode. I'm going to
You'd be
change
in
my vote.
traction.
Jason!
What is going on?
This isn't right.
This is amazing. I love this. Jason, why? Why are you changing?
Because you really, I mean, you were
Positive.
right that nothing in Everest works.
It's the same argument with Rock and Roller Coaster. We literally lambasted Rock and Roller Coaster being a ride that has nothing going on in it with a great queue. I'm sorry. That's what Everest is right now.
I will agree here. I will agree with you with the fact that Everest has seen far, far better days. I won't lie to that. What I will say, though, if you're going to compare it to Rock and Roller Coaster, is there is consistently more theming at the top of that mountain with the track. I mean, there's just more fleshed out material than it as a whole in Rock and Roller Coaster.
But
It's very true. And some of the views that you get when you look out as
The
it's
views
going
are
up the mountain.
Gorgeous.
Absolutely.
Especially during Rivers of Light. It's at night. Everest at night is I don't know what it is. It's incredible.
Actually, watching Rivers of Light from Everest is probably better than watching
Oh,
it from the
absolutely.
grandstands.
Because
Well,
you see it
yeah.
for a second and then you're done with it.
Yeah.
So that's a 12-9 now.
That's a 12-9 now. Yeah.
Come on, people. Phone calls.
Come on, knock out Everest. Nick has been trying to give us an update. Nick, provide us with an update.
Yes, we got a call-in vote for Fill Our Magic.
Hey!
Yay!
Ooh.
My
All right,
people.
so
I'm
that's-
less mad now that Everest that y'all changed your votes.
So it's now 15-9, or no, I'm sorry, 14-9.
Yep.
14-9 Filler Magic over River Journey. That's an upset, man. That is a huge upset if that stays that way. But in the meantime, Everest is very susceptible to a knockout right now if anyone wants to call in for Winnie the Pooh. So things could get interesting here. Let's move on to our next matchup, shall we? Which is going to be Turtle Talk with Crush versus for the first time in forever, a Frozen sing-along celebration. Marcy.
I'm gonna have to go with Frozen because I've done Turtle Talk with Crush twice now, and it's really boring. It's so boring. And even though I've seen Frozen a million times, and I probably would not choose to go to the Frozen sing along, I have to choose that over Turtle Talk with Crush.
Nick.
Turtle Talk with Crush. I love the technology there still, and I love how kind of magical that is to little kids watching that and interacting.
Nathan.
Well, Turtle Talk is a experience that has some randomness to it. That's sort of its point. Frozen Sing Along is literally something you can do at home, beyond, of course, the actors. And I'm not saying they don't do a good job and all of that, but it is, boy, no. No, absolutely not. So it's going to go easily for me. Anti-Frozen on this one. So,
Jason.
I've got to agree with Nathan and Nick that Turtle Talk it's a better attraction overall. What's the point of a sing-along? I mean, Disney would sell sing-along books and records to do at home. So
And
why,
VHS.
But you
Yeah.
know the snow.
so why do you want to do it with 1,000 people?
What if I don't know the words to the song?
Oh.
Make sure you
That's
can't
why
go
you
wrong.
follow the bouncing ball.
Oh.
Anyway, David.
This is my worst nightmare. 2 shows with audience participation. I actually, Frozen is tolerable. They try to keep the pace moving rapidly. It's not entirely cloying. I'm going to stick with that, Frozen.
with the high recommendation of Frozen is tolerable.
Well, as a 6 versus 11 seed, we'll accept it. Ashley.
If you would have asked me before they opened the dark ride, I would have gone with the song because I do feel like Frozen deserves representation in the parks. But
yeah,
now
if there's
that we
anything
have
that's
the
been
dark
underrepresented,
ride,
it's Frozen.
well, no, but I mean they deserve an attraction. They do. And so if you would have asked me prior to that, I would have gone with the sing along just because there wouldn't have really been anything else. But now that we have the dark ride, I don't think the sing along is really necessary. And Turtle Talk is still, it's interactive. The kids love it. And while it's not the greatest, I think it's still better and more creative than a sing along.
I think Hollywood Studios needs an ice rink. That's what's really missing.
That was amazing.
It was. I missed that. Mostly because that also meant the backside of the park was still there. I'm going with Frozen Sing Along because the 2 hosts are always fantastic. They're usually Streetmosphere people or just people that have been around with the company for a long time. They do a really great job. And I still break every time they go. Coronation Day, I love instant breakfast. It still gets me every time. So I'm going with the Sing Along show. It's charming. It's cute. And I don't know, Turtle Talk's getting kind of long in the tooth. And I always think the people that do it in Florida are never as good as the California people. It's a much more fun show out there, I think. So Frozen Sing-Along Celebration. What's the score on that one?
That would be 12-9.
12-9 for Turtle Talk or
Yes.
Frozen? Yeah,
12-9 for Turtle Talk.
There you go. So Turtle Talk, but then another one that could be swayed, ladies and gentlemen. All right, next matchup, we have the number 7 seed Peter Pan's Flight versus the number 10 seed Primeval World. I don't think we have to get into this much. Just give me an answer. Marcy.
Peter Pan.
Nick. Nope, Nick's taking a call. Nathan.
Pan.
Jason.
Much as I love Primeval World, I've got to go with Pan.
David.
Peter Pan.
Ashley.
Pan.
Nick.
Peter Pan.
Yeah, Peter Pan. 21-0. Goodbye. Primeval World doesn't even deserve
Primeval
a
World's
conversation.
The Primeval World's the best ride at a street carnival. Like, it would be amazing there.
I don't even think there it's that good.
It's decent.
Spinning Wild Mouse is literally, guys, we invested in something big at the fair last year. What's a cheaper coaster we can add this year?
I've fallen for it just a little bit, but
Okay.
clearly not enough, of course.
All right, Nick, do we have a call? Is there something to be updated? Yeah, there sure is.
That there is. We just had to call in vote for Winnie the Pooh.
Oh! So wait a minute. Where does that?
May the lines be long when you go.
It
to
is
the
now
park.
12-11. 12-11 Everest. So one more call for Pooh, and that outcome has changed.
I need my Sherpas. Sherpas, arise.
That would be a number 14 seed. Moving on. Could you imagine? I mean, then that would be an easier path for Pooh. Pooh could make it pretty far, actually. But it's got to happen. Someone's got to call. All right. The last match in the Epcot conference, we have the number 15 seed, the Barnstormer, versus the number 2 seed, Kilimanjaro Safaris. I assume this will be quick. Although
The
some
shortest
of you have
versus
kids.
the longest.
Some of you have kids, so we'll see what happens. Marcy.
Kilimanjaro.
All right. Nick.
Kilimanjaro.
Nathan.
Kilimanjaro.
Jason.
Kilimanjaro.
David.
Definitely the safari.
Ashley.
Absolutely the safari.
Kilimanjaro Safaris, 21-0. All right. So let's quick recap of where we are, at least with that conference, because I know we just had some things change. Let's take a look real quick. What's going on? So you got Filler Magic is 14-9 over River Journey. The big heated matchup is Everest and Pooh, which is now at 12-11. Turtle Talk with Crushing Frozen Sing-Along is within 3 points as well, so you may want to keep track of that as we roll on tonight. And otherwise, there was a lot of blowouts there. So very quickly, before we move on with more matchups, I'm going to try and find the script here somewhere. These 80 windows. Here we go. I want to quickly mention WIGS, which is the WDWNT Inner Globe Society. Jason, do we have that fancy logo for everybody? There we go. WDWNT March Madness is also brought to you by WIGS, the WDWNT Inner Globe Society. Support WDWNT and get early and exclusive access to content that you just can't find anywhere else, including pre-shows for March Madness. We got another one of those coming up on the 21st. And as well, this Thursday at 11 p.m. is See You Relate with Tom Corliss. You can get offended starting at just $2 a month. So for more information, go to patreon.com/WDWNT or visit WDWNT.com and click the Patreon link. Join the WIGS and help make WDWNT happen through Patreon. It's also worth mentioning. For our upcoming events, there will be special perks to being a WIGS member as well. So keep that in mind. Nick, what on earth is going on?
What? We got some votes.
Oh, we got some multiple.
All right, we got another call-in vote for Winnie the Pooh.
Yes.
Oh!
Tragedy.
Winnie the Pooh is now beating Everest.
We got another call-in vote
People, I'm gonna need
for Everest.
Hey.
Oh, boo. Boo.
yes.
Sherpas rise. Sherpas.
Wow.
All right, that's
so what
it
is
right
it,
now.
14-13 now?
Yep.
14-13. Oh, no, that's wrong because they get 1 point or 2.
They get 2.
They get 2. Yeah, it is. It's
So
14-13.
they basically, those two calls canceled each other out.
14-13 Everest, so it's still just as close as it was before.
So hey, I just want to reiterate to people: make sure number one, because we've had a couple things here. Make sure you got an email back from us that confirmed that you're registered. We had somebody call that thought they might have been registered, but never got an email back from us.
Check your spam folder because
Yeah.
it says that we use this mail client that tells us if they actually went through. So do make sure you find it if you did get it.
So we got that. Also, try to have that 6-digit. If you didn't have us at the beginning, try to have that 6-digit verification code that is in your email. Have that handy. That'll make the call in go quicker when you do call in to vote.
There you go. All right, we're going to move on to the Hollywood Studios conference very quickly now. Jason, let's show people that conference. We've got the number 1 seed, Frozen Ever After, versus the number 16 seed, the Prince Charming Regal Carousel. Ashley, what are you taking?
Oh, wait, I lost my spot. Sorry. Frozen.
David.
I did have to stop and think about this one for a second, but we'll go with Frozen.
Jason.
The carousel 10 times in a row will make me dizzy. I got to go with Frozen.
Nathan.
You know, you can hate where they put Frozen, but the other one is literally the thing Walt was watching his kid on when he decided, maybe I should do this better. So I'm going to have to go with Frozen.
Nick.
Frozen.
Marcy.
Frozen.
I am going to go with the Prince Charming Regal Carousel because it means a lot to somebody. Somebody asked me to pick it, and just for them, I'm going to pick it. I, of course, prefer Frozen, but I'm doing a favor for somebody and picking the carousel.
I know we can use
Can I
favors.
guess who?
You certainly can. Why not? Jason say what he'll ride 10 times in a row.
That's
They
true.
should, if they care that much, they should call in.
Are they
Well,
a
they
registered? Are they a registered contestant?
They are a registered.
Oh,
They're probably going to
Uh-oh.
call you
Sounds
any
fishy.
second. Not that it's gonna
collusion.
help. It's not going to help. What is it? It's 18-3.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Even if they call, it's going to be 18-5. It's not going to matter. So anyway, if it was a deciding vote, I of course would have picked Frozen. I didn't think it would be. Obviously, it wasn't. Next up, Beauty and the Beast live on stage versus It's a Small World. Marcy.
This is actually difficult because it's nostalgia.
I think you're going to say you get nauseous on It's a Small World.
No.
No, I'm Beauty and the Beast.
10
Oh.
times.
It's nostalgia versus, again, really amazing live performers, and I really do love Beauty and
I
the
said
Beast.
Beauty and the Beast. You know that, right?
Oh my goodness, there are okay, forget it. I don't know that song. Ugh. I think I'm gonna go with Small World. Go with nostalgia.
Nick,
Definitely Small World.
Nathan,
2 words, Mary Blair. Small World.
Jason.
Yes.
That's not an answer.
Jason's
I
falling
agree with
asleep.
everyone.
David,
Small World.
Ashley.
Small World.
I love Beauty and the Beast, but no way is it touching It's a Small World. It's a Small World. 21-0 blowout. All right, on to the next matchup, which contains the darling of the last time we did this tournament. Number 5 seed, the Grand Fiesta Tour, starring the 3 Caballeros versus the number 12 seed, O Canada. Ashley.
I'm going to go with Grand Fiesta Tour.
David.
You know what? I'm going to go with O Canada. I really like that movie. I think
Why?
that's the way that you do a Circle Vision country film. I think that's the model that everybody should be using.
Wow. Jason.
A very good friend of mine has a girlfriend who's Canadian,
Oh my gosh.
but that's not enough for me to pick O
Oh,
Canada.
amazing.
So I'm going with Grand Fiesta Tour.
Nathan.
As much as I enjoy the meta sort of ness of O Canada, it still is going to go to Grand Fiesta Tour this time.
Nick.
Grand Fiesta Tour for sure.
Marcy.
Canada. It's a lifetime journey for the traveler.
You
So I'm-
Smiths.
I'm choosing O Canada. Dang it.
Wow. I can't see one of the screens over your ears. Anyway, I'm picking Grand Fiesta Tour because not only I loved this in the last tournament, but since then they added the animatronics, which are of course from the Mickey Mouse Review, which is amazing. Grand Fiesta Tour. So what's the score we got on that one?
We got that's a 15-6.
15-6 for the Grand Fiesta Tour. All right, next matchup, the number 13 seed Enchanted Tales with Belle versus Space Mountain. Marcy.
Space Mountain. Just for the
You're
For
not,
the,
you're not getting sick
background
or
music.
afraid of this one? Or okay.
Oh, she won't write it.
Stop! Okay, I will write it sometimes, but it is painful. But sometimes it's worth it.
Cicero.
I really love Enchanted Tales with Belle. I think that is
Why
such
does
a-
this not surprise me?
I'm sure you do.
Come on. I think it's a great way of doing a meet and greet. It's so much fun. It's such a cool way of interacting with and meeting with a character. So, Belle.
Nathan.
I'm sorry, I'm still stunned. Space Mountain, of course.
Jason.
You know, after having just gotten back from Disneyland and riding Space Mountain out there and seeing how much better it is,
Oh, I love that score.
I'm gonna go with Enchanted Tales with Belle.
Wow. David.
Yeah, it was closer than I thought, but I'm still going to go with Space Mountain.
Ashley.
Space Mountain. Enchanted Tales with Belle is great, but I don't know. I always kind of feel bad for the kids that don't get picked because then they really
They can be silverware, don't they? Like hand them all the nondescript.
Well, yeah, but you don't.
Yeah.
Here, kids,
But
be a spoon.
But at the same time, you don't really get like the picture, the photo ops or anything, and then they kind of just usher you out of the room. You don't get a chance to really meet or interact
If they
with Belle
hand
the
you
way
a
the other
spoon or
kids
whatever,
do.
you meet the character, and they try to get all the kids.
Yeah, but it's
Maybe
not
you got like a really
guaranteed.
mean group.
Maybe, but I don't know. I think it's a great show. I wish they could somehow do it where towards the end somehow there's a second meet and greet if your kid doesn't get to really interact with Belle. Somehow, I don't even know how they would do that, but I'd definitely pick Space.
Okay. I love Enchanted Tales, but I love me some Space Mountain. I mean, iconic, wonderful, the original. So I'm going Space Mountain. That was closer than I thought it was going to be. Is that another
15-6.
15-6? Yeah. All right, on to our next matchup, which is Test Track presented by Chevrolet versus the Country Bear Jamboree. Ashley?
Country Bears.
David?
I can't go with Country Bears in their current incarnation. Test Track.
Jason?
I can't go with Test Track.
I knew it.
I would have said the same thing.
I'm
only
going
the
with
other way
Country
around.
Bears.
Country Bears. Nathan?
Oh, I think the best, still the funniest show in probably all of Disney, Country Bears Jamboree.
Nick?
Yeah, not even close. Country Bears.
Wow. Marcy?
Test Track.
Boo.
It's the only thrill ride I can actually ride without getting sick.
Elitist.
What?
Hating on the country.
You and your Chevrolet car. Oh, wait, I drive a Chevrolet.
Hanging out in digital space.
I have a Honda.
If this was original Test Track, you know where I'd be voting. It's not. I'm going with the Country Bear Jamboree. Because new Test Track is a soulless, empty, horrible thing. And I know the old one was a warehouse, but if you've made it more soulless than the warehouse, you've done a hell of a job, let me tell you.
I mean, I don't. It's not terrible, and there are parts of it I enjoy, but you put that.
It had a
against
shelf
Country
life
Bears.
of 5 minutes.
It's amazing what that place would be like, though, if they used some projection mapping and did some actual work in there. I think it could be a cool thing.
Yeah,
It
could.
is not.
They could
what
make
should
it
be.
better.
Yes, absolutely.
And like,
Other
and like
than
you,
black spray paint everywhere.
and like you design a car and then it doesn't do anything.
Yeah, the thing
Make
is,
your
guys,
car actually do things.
spray painting the warehouse black doesn't make it not a warehouse. So you can take it's Tron themed and you know where to put it. So Country Bear Jamboree, it's
We put it
Tron
in
themed.
Tomorrowland, right?
Black paint,
That's where-
it's Tron themed. Yeah, sure.
It's a
So
pretty big upset.
what's the score on that one?
That's a 6 to 15 for Country
Woo!
Bears.
That
Oh my
one
God.
too.
You guys are gonna have to do some calling if you want Test Track to stick around.
Ha
On to the next matchup, the Triceratops spin against Big Thunder Mountain. Let's do this quickly, Ashley.
Big Thunder Mountain.
It took too long.
Why is-
David.
well,
I didn't vote for
still
Dumbo.
don't
I'm not
understand why these are questions.
voting for Spin. Big Thunder.
Jason.
Big Thunder.
Nathan.
The wildest ride in the wilderness for me.
Triceratops spin, right?
No, I'll clarify. Big Thunder Mountain.
All right. Nick.
How is Triceratops spinning 11?
Because Animal Kingdom doesn't have a lot of attractions.
Big Thunder.
Bless.
Marcy.
Big Thunder.
Big Thunder.
I like calling
Blowout.
Triceratops spin ugly Dumbo. That's what I prefer.
Okay.
They are sort of just ugly Dumbo.
Next up, we got Living with the Land versus the Indiana Jones Epic Stunt Spectacular. Marcy.
Can I go last? I don't know yet.
You only had a week to prepare. Ashley, we'll go the other way. Ashley.
And this is coming. Well, I will preface this by saying I love Indiana Jones. My dog is quite literally named Indiana Jones, and the other one is named Harrison Ford. We are an Indiana Jones family, so I have to vote Indiana.
Okay. David.
What is this preparation you speak of? Living with the Land. I actually like that better.
Jason.
I'm going with the Land.
Because it's an Epcot.
Because Indy's really getting old. Like just like you said, PhilharMagic is getting old and needs to be redone. I think the same with Indy.
Yeah, once he crashed the plane into the set, I mean. Anyway. I don't know what Ashley was going to say, but I cut her off.
I'm not saying anything.
Nick.
This is one that I'd vote differently different times in my life. Like at one point, Indiana Jones stunt show would have beat it easily, but no, not today. Living with the Land is just such a more enjoyable ride these days.
Nathan.
This is a really, really hard one for me. I really like Indiana Jones. I mean, I love Indiana Jones. Actually, we could have an Indiana Jones off. Like seriously, there's
We'll have to do
stacks of comic books and all sorts of business. But it is a long show, and it is great if you want to see it once or twice. But as an annual pass holder, it's not something I think about doing ever. But Living with the Land is every time I go, I'm on Living with the Land, and yeah, it needs some work. I totally think it needs a lot of updating. But at the same time, there's this wonderful charm about seeing that clip of the 90s scientists, if they're in the 90s, doing their work in a barn projection. So it goes, though my heart is with Indiana Jones, I think my head is going to stick with Living with the Land.
Marcy.
I'm going to go with Living with the Land.
I am also going to go with Living with the Land, and I love Indiana Jones, but I can't with this show anymore. How that is the thing that survived at Hollywood Studios is beyond me. So it won't survive in this tournament.
It fits a lot of people. That's probably why.
Yeah, but somehow that was the plot. That was the plot that from the beginning was supposed to become something. It's the one plot that stayed. Regardless, I think Living with the Land is a classic now. It's one of the last vestiges of the Epcot everyone knew and loved. And so I'm going with Living with the Land. What's the score on that matchup?
18-3.
18-3. There you go. On to our next matchup. It's going to be let's make this quick, Mad Tea Party versus Pirates of the Caribbean. Marcy.
Pirates.
Nick.
Pirates.
Nathan.
Pirates.
Jason.
Pirates.
David.
Pirates.
Ashley.
If it were Disneyland teacups, it would be different, but Pirates.
Why?
Because I love Disneyland
they're different.
teacups.
They're outside.
But
They're
it's still
beautiful.
Pirates.
But it's, I don't know, there's something very quintessential and
it's closed.
charming about the teacups, especially at night.
Right now, we're currently
At
voting
Disneyland.
for cornhole. This is what we're
The
cornhole of the Caribbean right now.
how about the only ride of those two that I could ride 10 times in a row is teacups because Pirates is closed?
There you go.
Does that
See?
count? Is that a good argument or no?
No,
They
Pirates.
put it on
Pirates.
soul.
21-0 Pirates. Even though it's the inferior one, I still love it. It's the one I grew up with. Doesn't matter. So 21-0 Pirates. That's going to end the Hollywood Studios conference, which means we have one left to go. But before we get there, we're going to take an actual commercial break. Nick, you ready for that?
Sure.
Good. We're going to take a commercial break, and we'll be right back with more March Madness for you. Do you own a large fleet of vehicles that travel along a concrete beam? Do these vehicles sometimes shoot parts onto the people below? Do the automatic doors sometimes stick open? And when they do amateurs shoot vertical video of it? If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are in need of a new monorail fleet. I am Feliz, and in addition to my lucrative business selling ear hats and not much else, I also design and repair monorails. In fact, I've been repairing the Disneyland monorail since 2008. Can your guests not breathe? I poke big holes in the roof. Do pieces of the monorail keep falling off? Then I'll provide you the best blue masking tape money can buy so your cast members can fix it right at the station. Are your monorails so decimated that you need to completely replace them? Well, I have good news. I design and build monorail trains as well. The best part is that you can actually pay me to build them for you, and then you don't have to have my company's logo plastered all over them. Isn't that great? So contact us today at Feliz Monorail Liquidators, located at the corner of Center Drive and North Facilities Way. Our doors are wide open, so come on in. I guess we're not going to show those images, Jason. All right.
Oh yeah, I could show them.
That was the plan. We're so good at this. Oh, no. Stop. No, play the music. You're looking at WDWNT VR. Sadly, an attraction that couldn't make the tournament this year is the Great Movie Ride. You know why? Because they killed it. So, luckily for you, at some point, you'll be able to ride the Great Movie Ride virtually in WDWNT VR, coming your way later this year in 2018. Our own virtual theme park, which will include the Great Movie Ride. So stay tuned for more information, more details on that coming eventually. That's all we're willing to say at this point. But anyway, glad we rehearsed, everybody. All right, so we're back. We have 8 final matches to go now. And Jason, let's go ahead and let's pull those up for everybody. The final conference, the Animal Kingdom conference, if you will. And the first matchup we have is the Avatar Flight of Passage versus the Hall of Presidents. Let's make this quick and with no political statements whatsoever. Begin with Marcy.
Flight of Passage.
Nick.
Flight of Passage.
Nathan.
Flight of Passage.
Jason.
Is this FOP or HOP? I'm not sure which I like. Let's go with Flight of Passage.
David.
The singular Flight of Passage.
Ashley.
Pandora or Flights of Passage. I
Flights.
still just call
Yep,
it
she said flights.
Yep,
She-
it's the plural.
Yep. It's either one. It's fine.
either one.
Flight of Passage. Yep, 21-0. Big surprise. All right. The next matchup we have Journey into Imagination with Figment versus Voyage of the Little Mermaid. Ashley.
I'm actually going to go with Voyage of the Little Mermaid.
Okay, David.
This has got to be the worst matchup of this entire tournament.
There wasn't really a right answer. But
I'm going to go with Journey just because it has Figment.
But
But
none
he
of them have audience
farts on
participation.
you, essentially.
He farts on you?
Well, I mean,
So do
it's
all
a
the guests
skunk,
in the queue,
technically,
but I mean,
Yeah,
I
but you
mean, he
pay
makes
for
the
Figment.
skunk pop up, but essentially, I mean,
Still
Jason.
has Figment.
I'm gonna go with Voyage of the Little Mermaid
Wow, why?
because I couldn't ride Figment 10 times in a row. Like it's that bad.
Great. Nathan.
For the giant poster of Rick Moranis alone, Journey.
Nick.
Journey.
Marcy.
Yeah, I'm going with Figs because Voyage, I mean, it just seems very outdated with some of the technology they're using.
it is, but it's almost getting to that point where it's awesomely terrible.
It has been awesomely terrible for a long time, Voyage. I'm still going with Figment because, to quote a very smart person, trash Figment is still better than no Figment. So yes, I'm going with Journey. I don't think it'll survive another matchup, but at least this one I'm willing to give it the edge over Voyage. What's the score on that one?
That is 15-6.
15-6, so not
All
quite
right.
that close. The next matchup, oh boy, it's Muppet Vision 3D versus the Disney Pixar Short Film Festival. Marcy.
Muppet Vision 3D, no hesitation.
Nick.
Muppet Vision 3D.
Nathan.
Muppet Vision for sure.
Jason.
Muppets.
I don't know what that was. David.
Stick with the Muppets.
Ashley.
Muppets. I can watch the shorts at home.
Absolutely. Muppets blowout 21-0. All right. I don't know what that was. I thought maybe we had a call. I didn't. There was some weird noise. All right. The next matchup, we got Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin versus Spaceship Earth. It's a battle in space, everybody. Here you go, Ashley.
I will keep myself on Earth and go with Spaceship Earth.
It goes into space.
Well, but you technically stay on Earth, don't you? Like, Earth goes into space, but you don't.
No, you look
Earth
back
is
at
in
Earth from the.
From space.
Oh, that's right, you do.
Have you been on?
I'm usually
it's near.
asleep.
It's
I'm
near Walt
usually
Disney
asleep by
Presents.
that point.
She's already trying. She's trying to figure out what her future holds at that point. So she's busy looking at the screen.
No, I'm asleep, but that's beside the point.
David.
Yes, even this version of Spaceship Earth is better than Buzz Lightyear at this point.
Jason.
Trash Spaceship Earth is better than
He stole my line.
Trash.
Stole my line. I'm so mad. I didn't say it. Nathan.
Spaceship Earth, of course.
Nick.
Yeah, are people debating this? Spaceship Earth.
Marcy.
Spaceship Earth.
Trash Spaceship Earth is better than no Spaceship Earth. And Buzz Lightyear is long. It's out of date. Needs to go. Spaceship Earth. 21-0.
Buzz Lightyear allows.
Nick, what's going on over there?
Yeah, we got a call in and a vote for Winnie the Pooh.
Wow.
Leave.
This is ridiculous.
So Winnie the Pooh is now in the
So
lead.
mad. It's fine. It's gonna lose next round anyway.
Yeah.
Is it? What's it facing in the next?
It's either gonna face Pan or Safaris.
No, I see it against Frozen SingAlong.
No, it's facing Frozen Singalong. It's winning in the next round. You're not looking at the updated
Oh,
bracket.
I skipped ahead one.
Wait. It's facing Turtle Talk.
Turtle Talk, right?
Oh, Turtle Talk. Did I look at the
Turtle
wrong
Talk.
place? There we go.
Still
Definitely.
winning.
All right, so it'll win that one, and then it'll lose the next one.
That's okay.
We'll see about that. You were so sure it was going to beat Everest, or Everest was going to beat it. We'll see what happens.
I wasn't so sure. I just still think it should.
Winnie the Pooh is the Grand Fiesta Tour of this tournament now. You're all in trouble. All right, now to the matchup that will rip Tom's heart in half. It's time for Splash Mountain versus the Enchanted Tiki Room. Marcy.
Splash Mountain.
Oh, we're looking at Nick's shoulder right now. I'm going to change that. Splash Mountain, says Marcy. Nathan.
I love both, but Splash Mountain.
Nathan.
I really, really love Tiki Room, but Splash Mountain is wonderfully themed and it's much longer, and I don't know if it's longer, but it's much more of an experience for sure. Splash Mountain.
Jason.
I assume so.
I think it makes it better for me to vote against Tiki Room because it's not the original. So I'm going with Splash.
David.
Yeah, I don't know how Tiki Room fell down to a 14 seed. I got to go with Splash Mountain, though.
Of Magic Kingdom, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Ashley.
As much as I love them both, Splash.
I love them both. I should pick Splash, but I'm not going to let Tiki Room get blown out, so I'm going to pick Tiki Room.
I mean, only if Under New Management was still around, I would change it.
Oh boy.
No.
This will be Nathan's last
absolute
edition of the show.
absolute joke.
I don't hate Under New Management, but I'd pick the old one any day. So there you go. Splash Mountain 18.
I vote Splash if anyone cares.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, right.
Oops. You were on the phone, so I jumped over you. So yeah, there
Well,
you
Nick
go.
loves water.
18-3. Nick was on the phone. Nick, why were you on the phone?
Because we got a call-in vote for Everest.
Oh,
Damn.
no. Come on, somebody.
So Everest
Yay
is
for
in
the
the
Sherpas.
lead again.
My Sherpas.
Unbelievable.
You were so sure it was going to win, Tom.
It's not over yet.
Sherpa up, my Sherpas. Sherpa.
All right, on to probably the toughest match of the entire tournament so far. We have the number 11 seed, the Jungle Cruise, versus the number 6 seed, Dinosaur. Marcy.
You said Jungle Cruise versus Dinosaur, right?
Correct.
Okay. I'm going with Jungle Cruise because I can't see anything in Dinosaur.
Okay. Nick.
This one's really hard for me because I do love them both, but I'm gonna go with Jungle Cruise. Jungle Cruise, yes. Final answer.
Why?
Because it's enjoyable more of the time for me. That's like I enjoy Jungle Cruise more often than I enjoy Dinosaur. Like I like the idea of Dinosaur more than I like the actual attraction these days. I like the theming. I like getting in there. I like Jungle Cruise. I just like the experience of going on the cruise. And if you get a good skipper, you have a good ride.
Nathan.
I think Nick said it when he said, if you get a good skipper.
Yeah.
And I think that is the risk you take on sitting in a boat with someone who's bad at being a skipper it doesn't work for me. Dinosaur, I think, is something that really can like overwhelm people the first 3 or 4 times you do it. After that, there's like I sort of love it more every time I go on to it, even sort of though it's lost its like overwhelmingness, and that can be kind of a factor of why it's cool. But Dinosaur is just, I enjoy it a lot more. I like that I know what I'm getting.
Jason.
Yeah, if pre-shows could win tournaments, I'd pick Dinosaur. But taking a chance with a Jungle Cruise skipper is better than taking a chance, or actually taking a chance with a Jungle Cruise skipper is better than being assured that you're going to get blackness in Dinosaur. So yeah, I'm with Marcy. You can't see anything. Jungle Cruise.
And if you're riding Jungle Cruise 10 times, you're likely to get at least one good skipper.
That's right. I beg
Not
to differ.
necessarily.
David, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I've gotten a good skipper the last 10 times. If this was Disneyland, the Jungle Cruise would win hands down in my book, but it's not. And Dinosaur has grown on me a lot over the last few times I've ridden it. So I'm going to go with Dinosaur here.
Ashley.
See, again, everybody's talking about the skippers, and unfortunately, chances are lately you're not going to get a good one. But Dr. Seeker is always entertaining, and it's quotable, and I love it so much. Even if you can't see anything in the ride, that I still love it, and I would go just to see it. So I'm going Dinosaur.
I'm going with Dinosaur because that pre-show is amazing. I love the ride. The dialogue's so much fun. It's a fun ride. You see plenty. There's a dinosaur that runs after you.
Mhm.
I mean, come
I
on.
think it has a lot to do with when you see it, because I went when it's dark outside and my eyes have adjusted, and the amount you can see in that ride is a whole lot more than if you try to ride that thing in the afternoon.
During the daylight, yeah.
Oh, 100%
Well,
difference.
And it should. My husband is by no stretch of the imagination a Disney fan. He will go to the parks and enjoy it because I drag him along. But even he will quote Dinosaur because the lines are that memorable. Like even just out in, when we're he will quote Dinosaur.
All right. So what's the score on that one?
Score is 15-6 for Dinosaur.
15 is no, isn't it Jungle Cruise?
No.
No.
No,
Who picked
I picked
Dinosaur?
Dinosaur. You picked Dinosaur. David picked Dinosaur.
Yeah,
Only Marcy and I picked Jungle Cruise.
that was
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
No, I picked that.
No,
I picked
Nick-
Jungle Cruise.
Nick picked Jungle Cruise.
Oh, Nick
Yeah.
picked Jungle Cruise too. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so Dinosaur still wins, but
12-9.
12-9.
Yeah,
There
it's
we go.
closer.
Who's keeping score?
No one knows the problem.
We got this. It's fine.
Apparently not. So that's real close. So if you need to swing that one the other way, you can, but it's 12-9 Dinosaur right now. Moving on, the next matchup, we have the number 7 seed, Finding Nemo the Musical versus the Tomorrowland Transit Authority People Mover. Ashley.
I'm actually going to go TTA. Nemo is great, but it's not my favorite. I would much rather go see Festival of the Lion King. But the TTA it's wonderful. You get to see the Epcot model, and it's such a kinetic and energy for Tomorrowland that I'm picking that one.
David.
Yeah, I have to go with People Mover. There's something about Finding Nemo the Musical that just grates against me. Even though it has no participation and it has decent seating, the kids and Marcy have to drag me and they're screaming to go to that. So
I don't
anyway,
understand your issue with Finding Nemo the musical because
I get it, David. It's just not.
the way that
I
they
don't
do
know what.
the jellyfish and the different fish, it's like
a knockoff
on
Lion
Broadway.
King, and it's
Exactly, but it's
absolutely
better than
Anderson
Lion King.
Lopez's worst score. So
No.
Yeah.
This
I don't
is
know. There's
really
just something about the music. It doesn't resonate with me the way that Festival does. I would much rather go see Festival.
I love that Go With the Flow song.
oh,
I like all of them. I like all those songs. I like Nemo. Marcy, what do you pick?
Okay. I love Finding Nemo the musical. I think that it's better than Festival of the Lion King. I don't know what Dave's problem is with it, but I'm picking TTA.
Way to
what?
fight for your cause. I saw that coming a mile away. Nick, go ahead.
Man, I love People Mover, but Finding Nemo the Musical is like one of my favorite shows. I love it. I'm gonna go for Finding Nemo musical. Yep.
Okay.
Over Tom Morrow?
Yeah. Over sitting in this bucket that moves me around Tomorrowland. Yeah.
But it's so relaxing, and the views.
Oh, it definitely is.
And
Yeah, definitely.
Let the man enjoy his show, Nathan. Go ahead.
I mean, Tomorrowland at night on the TTA, and now no Stitch announcement. It's great. Yeah, TTA.
Jason.
I can totally see the issue with Finding Nemo, and I think it's that it's a good show. It's got good music. The puppets are kind of inventive as a way to do the characters, but I think after a while the puppets just get really too weird for me, and I don't. That's kind of what grates against it for me, is just it gets tiring to see the people and the puppets, and it's
that's how I feel about people who make their point. What rides can they ride 10 times in a row? Very similar.
So I do like Nemo, but yeah, I mean, so many of my picks I'm finding are being influenced by just coming back from Disneyland, where you see Frozen at the Hyperion and it's like you're blown away, and Finding Nemo should be that way, and it's not.
Have you seen Lion King, Jason?
You mean Festival of the Lion King?
No, like Lion King on Broadway.
No, I have not.
Well, don't spend $180 a ticket then, because if you don't like puppetry and stuff like that, you will not like that show.
It's not. It's not about that. I'm not getting into this now. Who hasn't gone? Is it just me?
I think it's just you.
I love Nemo the musical, but there is still something to be said for attractions that go up on a second level of a land and often offer viewpoints like that. And there should be more of it because the parks are beautiful from the normal angles, but there's something magical about being at that second level. I'm going with People Mover. I have to. I can't go with Nemo.
That's another upset.
Yeah.
18-3 upset.
I don't know if it really is, but oh boy. The Niccolo Cicero in the call center.
Here we go. We have a couple votes in. We have a vote for Jungle Cruise.
Oh.
But still, the dinosaur's still winning by 1
We
point.
also have another vote for Jungle Cruise.
Oh, not anymore.
And then we have a vote for Reflections of China.
What? Who?
That's a long shot.
Reflections of China.
Good for you.
Somebody
Good
who
for
was
you.
clearly already out of the game.
Like someone who worked on the film just called in.
Yeah, right.
He said all his teams are hopelessly behind, and he's just going to throw out a vote there.
All right.
So
Bless him.
I don't know why that was the one that got it. We have one match left, and I know Park Center they're probably dying that it's 11:50. So let's go to the final matchup. The Walt Disney World Railroad versus Toy Story Mania. Let's make it quick, Ashley.
Mania.
David.
All right, Toy Story Mania.
Jason.
Toy Story Mania.
Nathan.
Toy Story Mania.
Nick.
I mean, close to Railroad.
Why? Have you been on the Disneyland Railroad?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I have. Also been on ours.
Ugh.
And you
Enjoy it?
still think ours over Mania?
Yes. Yes, I would ride the Railroad before I would ride Toy because it's just an enjoyable. Why do you ride the People Mover? Why are you getting on me about
Yeah,
seeing
but there's things to see on
See
the
on the People Mover.
I'm fine seeing what I see on the train.
Whatever.
Trees?
Marcy.
I love Toy Story. I think it's a lot of fun, but I'm also going to go with the railroad.
Oh, that's disgusting. Our railroad is terrible. Terrible. I'm going with Toy Story Mania because our railroad is garbage. They're beautiful trains. It's a garbage ride, though. Garbage ride. Nothing to see. Trash. Other than Mark's gator in the back. But other than that, there's nothing to see. Did I get everybody? Is that everybody?
I think
That's
so.
everybody.
All right. Well, Toy Story Mania. So you guys are going to get a couple minutes here to call. So what we're going to do is very quickly, we also have the March Tragic tournament. Very quickly, we're going to run through the first round of that. Jason, I'll give you a moment to get that ready. I will remind you that, of course, the March Tragic tournament is brought to you by TeePublic. Don't forget to shop apparel and accessories for Disney fans through WDWNT.com and TeePublic, just like Neil Patrick Harris, apparently. So, he bought the Save Figment.
Shameless plug.
Yep.
I'm going to ride that for all it's worth.
Yeah.
Just
Oh,
go to
absolutely.
Just go to WDWNT. I own the shirt too. Just go to WDWNT.com, click the TeePublic ad to shop from hundreds of designs for t-shirts, phone cases, prints, and more, including exclusive WDWNT and formerly WDW News Tonight logo apparel, as well as original creations such as Save Figment, which is Neil Patrick Harris approved. Confirmed, I read WDWNT.com. 7.
Yeah, 7.
Thank you. And more. Make the most of tonight and shop through the extensive collection on TeePublic, an official partner of WDWNT March Madness. The reason they're a partner is because the March Tragic tournament decides on our next t-shirt we're going to have. And the idea behind it is Disney used to do, I don't know if they're doing it this year, Disney used to do a March Magic tournament where you could buy these great t-shirts representing attractions or characters. We decided, what if we did a tournament of shirts that Disney would never make, but we can make and would be amazing. So that's what we have. Jason, do we have that ready?
We got it.
All right, so I'm going to pull up the chat, and very quickly I'm going to gauge, based on those of you out in the chat, whatever gets seems to get a majority of the votes is what we're going to move on in this tournament. And please remember to vote for a shirt you would actually buy. Just because you think it's funny if you wouldn't wear it, please don't vote for it, because we're tired of making shirts that you guys vote
That
for
are funny,
and then
that
don't
nobody
buy,
buys.
like Tangled toilets. So
We did
Punzel's
have
poopers.
One person
Punzel's
did confirm
poopers.
that they purchased it and were wearing it tonight.
a handful of people have Punzel's poopers, but just a handful. So let's do this real quick.
People are already voting.
While
They
Nick is
jumped ahead of
collecting
us.
calls, Nick is collecting calls at 407-774-8255, those last minute votes. It'll be the STK empty patios versus the coreless confirmations. I think the confirmations have already won.
I was going to say they were already voting.
Yeah, I think coreless confirmations already got it. So we're moving on to coreless confirmations.
Okay.
Next up, we have the Epcot wall carpets versus the rose gold diggers. Marcy, of course, wearing her
Wall
rose gold ears tonight.
Do we get to vote or no?
You can vote, sure. What would you like?
I would like the wall carpets.
I'm seeing it's
Ooh,
pretty split in the
split.
chat.
Oh,
It's still real. Oh, there's some rose gold. I don't know about this. Uh-oh.
Several carpets on the YouTube.
Oh, yeah, I'm looking at the YouTube one, too.
I mean, I think if Marcy's wearing rose gold ears and she's voting for wall carpets, that may be
wall
like
carpets.
the deciding
We're
factor.
moving the wall carpets on.
Well, I like
next-
rose gold ears before it became ridiculous. So
Wow, aren't you cool?
they went too,
Well, then you should-
far. They went
Then
too
you
far.
should sell yours on eBay and protest.
Let's move on
the
so Park
churros were
Center.
too far.
Let's move on so Park Center can begin on this day. Bland Avenue Baseline versus the Legally Not Citrus Swirl. I like both of these. I would buy both of these.
My thought is just not enough people are going to get Bland Avenue baseline.
I don't know. Legally not citrus swirl is pretty fresh.
That's
but
I
don't think it's gonna
really
last.
love that.
Yeah,
one.
Legally Not Citrus Swirl has already won. So Legally Not Citrus
there
Swirl.
we go.
Okay.
Next up, the comment section psychos versus the Baby Bell Cheese Bunch. Psychos.
I love both of these, but I'm not gonna lie. I'm not really sure how we would do either of them.
Comment section. I
The
already have
psych-
both of these like in my head. Comment section psychos versus the Baby Bell Cheese Bunch. Oh,
I'm seeing more
this
psychos.
You think so?
I think
Just by
Baby
a
Bell
hand.
runs
Oh,
into
nope,
trademark
kidding.
issues.
Is winning.
Yeah, David's got
Psychos
a
is-
very good point.
What do you say?
Trademark issues.
All right,
changed
we're
the-
going with the comment section psychos.
There we go.
Next up, the Pandoran pretzels versus the Casey Jr. Stain and Soak.
Tainted soak.
Can I ask, did I miss the joke on this one? Why is it the stain and soak?
Have you seen Casey Jr. recently? He's like covered in a white covering.
Oh,
Looks really unfortunate.
I haven't seen him in a while. Bless
Yeah.
him.
Pretzels or the Stain and Soak? I think the pretzels are winning.
The pretzels are winning.
Oh wait, we got some Stain
Oh.
and Soaks. I think Stain and Soak. Stain and
Mhm.
Soak moving on.
Yeah.
Next up, the Discovery River Disappointments, which may or may not be a reference to Rivers of Light, versus the Ipcots.
I think we know which one this is going to be.
Big cut.
Discovery Discovery River Disappointments versus the Ipcots. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Ipcots.
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 Take
That's done. Ipcots.
I love that.
Don't forget, y'all, the lines are still open to call to vote.
Yeah,
Because I can't help but notice
407
Nick's not getting any calls.
Yeah, the second we're done with the shirts, that's it. Voting is done, so you better call now. All right, next up we've got the River Country Dirt Testers against
So
the
wrong.
Paradise Peerless. I think Paradise Peerless will also be my name soon. Probably.
Is that the only Disneyland one we've got in the whole thing?
No.
They're
Oh,
wrecked.
the Rose Gold Churro Show. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Paradise Peerless. Paradise Peerless moving on. Next up, inspired by last year's popular shirt that didn't win, we have the Rose Golden Churro Shower and the Bob Chapek Robos. Bob Chapek Robos or the Rose Golden Churro Shower? Pick now.
As funny as the callback is, I still think the Robos would be a funnier shirt and a better shirt.
I think it's
More
pretty
offensive for
split.
sure.
It's pretty split so far.
How
Now
far,
lots of robos coming in.
Tom? How
Yeah.
far can you push Bob Chapek before he comes to your house?
Well, it depends. It depends if they put wheels on him. Because he is in fact a robot. I think the Robos. Bob Chapek.
Yeah,
Robos.
they
Yeah.
got it.
Next up, the Universe of Energy Extinction against the Test Track Fightin' 2, 5, and 7s. Universe of Energy Extinction or the Test Track Fightin' 2, 5, and 7s. I think Test Track.
Yeah.
Test Track 2, 5, and 7s.
That makes me sad.
We
No,
have
I love that
like 10
energy.
Universe of Energy
I know,
shirts
that's
you
true,
can
we do.
buy.
I have them all.
That's all folks one. I love that one.
Yep.
Next up, we have the Figment Funko Fighters, which of course were the people in line at Epcot 35, against the Stargazer Lounge Empty Stools. So the Figment Funko Fighters or the Stargazer Empty Funko Fighters. It's done already.
Yep.
Funko Fighters. Next up, the Politics of the Correctness. Maybe a play on an attraction name, against the Soarin' Leaning Towers. Maybe some things look bent on Soarin'.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Politics of the Correctness or the Soarin' Leaning Towers.
Seeing lots of swords.
Leaning towers.
In the YouTube chat, there's a lot of pirates.
I'll flip a coin.
It's rough.
I really like the Pirates one.
This is
That
rough.
could be an excellent
Some
design.
Tom Correctless.
I like
What is
that.
what does the staff think here? What's the staff vote? Maybe to split this.
Politics of the correctness.
Yeah, that's my vote.
Yeah, I want them both, but I lean towards that one.
Yep.
Politics of the Correctness is moving on. Next up, since there's no nighttime parade, we have the Main Street Blackout against the Woody's Lunchbox Shakes. Woody's Lunchbox Shakes or the Main Street Blackout. See Marcy voting in the chat, double voting. Thank you, Marcy.
I'm not double voting. I didn't say anything.
Some of classic food. Oh man, this is another tough one.
I was going to say blackout, but Woody's is coming back.
I don't know. I'm seeing lots of blackout now.
It's really split.
Why does Woody's Lunchbox have the shakes?
They have milkshakes. Woody's Lunchbox Shakes is moving on. All right, we have the Electric Umbrella second levels against the Stitch Shutdown. Stitch Shutdown or the Electric Umbrella second levels.
This is a tough one. I like both of these.
Stitch is winning, though.
Yeah, Stitch is blowing away. I'm looking at both chats, person in the YouTube chat. I'm trying to figure out between the two. Stitch, most definitely, not even close. Here's some fun ones. Walt Disney presents things from after I died. or 99-cent Toy Story Land. Which might be a land made of 99-cent toys. So like, that cheap airplane where the wheels fall off the bottom. Maybe it came in like a chocolate egg. Green Army men, they come from the 99-cent store. They don't come in a tub. They come in a plastic bag your kid can suffocate in.
Tom, it's a dollar store now. It's not the 99 cent
Excuse
store.
me. Walt Disney presents, without a doubt. Walt Disney presents things from after I died is the winner. Next up, we have the Disneyland arguing APs versus Because Money. Because Money or the Disneyland arguing APs. Yeah, I figured the way this one was going to go. I think it's over already. It's over already. Because Money.
Yep.
And we got one last one, folks. The monorail malfunctions against the wonders of life resuscitation.
Oh, where's Alex?
So great.
What did David turned like bright red. Wonders of Life resuscitation, or the monorail malfunctions.
The resuscitation. People don't even know how to spell resuscitation. That's what makes it great.
There's a lot of monorail.
There is a lot of monorail.
I
Yeah.
think we have to go with monorail. That's a shame. I love that shirt.
Everybody loves an alliteration, though.
Sure.
Yep.
Monorail malfunctions. Yeah.
All right, there we go.
That's the biggest upset of the night. It's the biggest.
Tom's very upset. And by that, he means Tom's very upset about it.
Yeah, because money. Well, look at that. Because money, monorail malfunctions. That's pretty accurate.
That's some Illuminati stuff we just
Yeah.
did. I don't know how we did that, but
The chat did it. We didn't do it.
Man, that's
You could probably go down every shirt, and it's because money.
back to March Madness real quick. Nick, do we have any more calls to talk about? Oh, we do.
We do. We have 3 call-in votes, all for the same attraction.
Wow.
Oh,
3 votes for Dinosaur.
Wow.
wow.
So we're gonna update. Jason, let me know when you got that updated.
Okay, 3 votes for Dinosaur. Means
we're gonna make
that-
it. We're gonna make it.
Let me find it here. We're getting so that's all the calls we got, Nick.
That's it.
So that adds, let's see, that adds 6 points to Dinosaur. So now Dinosaur is ahead 18-13.
And that's it.
That's
That is officially the end of round 1 of March Madness. Usually here we would go over what has happened, but we have a whole show where they're going to go over what has happened. So ladies and gentlemen, please stay tuned. Actually, if you're on WDWN Tunes, it's going to be right underneath this show. You can watch Park Center. And of course, do not forget, we are back with round 2 Wednesday at 10 p.m. That's this Wednesday at 10 p.m. Eastern. We're back with round 2, but stick around in just a few moments. Park Center is going to recap everything that just happened in March Madness. So we'll see you guys on Wednesday. Enjoy the show.